What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Sorry for the win. As you can see, I'm outside. Another quick thoughts video. On this segment, I like to talk about some of the best strikers of mixed martial arts, past and present, guys that I admire their striking. All right, so let's get started. No specific order. Mirko Cro Cop. Mirko actually had a striking technique that was like a special weapon in a video game. His left high kick was a thing of beauty, legend. It was a feared weapon. You knew it was coming, but more often than not, you couldn't do anything about it. You got caught with that thing. For a good while, Mirko Cro Cop was on a tear. Definitely one of the best heavyweights of all time. Of course, Mirko had that kickboxing background. He transitioned beautifully to MMA. Took a little bit, but he did develop great takedown defense. And over the years, he got decently proficient on the ground. Defensively anyway. But yeah, Mirko Cro Cop, definitely one of the most dangerous strikers of all time in mixed martial arts. He also has some pretty good hands. Great hooks, great uppercuts. While we're on Mirko and that era, Fedor, amazing setups. His striking looked simplistic, but honestly, there was a ton of technique there. A lot of great setups, very tricky and crafty on the feet. Fedor had an amazing overhand. A lot of times he would transition his striking into takedowns. As I mentioned, that overhand, he'll throw it and turn that into a takedown. Whether it be a trip, whether it's a throw. Beautiful mesh of striking and takedowns. Fedor, awesome power. Definitely one of the most dangerous strikers in mixed martial arts of all time. Let's go new age. Israel Adesanya. Of course, Israel with that crazy kickboxing background. Super skilled, great timing, great reflexes. Another guy with awesome setups. Mixed bag of tricks on the feet. He can kick, he can punch, he can do it all. One thing about Adesanya is that he's pretty amazing defensively. He has great slips, great counters. His footwork is on point. Modern day mixed martial arts, definitely one of the best strikers out there. And honestly, I think of all time. Some may say it's too soon to say that. I don't think so. It's just by the things I see. Another modern era guy, Conor McGregor. Another guy, some of the best timing we've ever seen. Some of the best boxing we've seen in MMA. Great reflexes, precise. He'll counterpunch you. He'll catch you on a back foot while you're stepping. Just an expert at putting you in vulnerable positions, standing and capitalizing in those vulnerable moments. McGregor, like I said, phenomenal boxing. Speaking of boxing, Dustin Poirier, another guy with amazing boxing from mixed martial arts. The diamond is technical. Throws combinations beautifully, great counterpuncher as well, good power. He's good at fighting in the pocket. He's good at long range. I personally think Dustin shines in the pocket though. Up tight, up close, throwing those combinations. Watching Dustin strike is a thing of beauty. How could I not mention this legend, Anderson Silva? Another absolute wizard on the feet. Anderson's like the BC Adesanya. I'm not saying that Adesanya is better, prime for prime. All I'm saying is they're very similar in some respects. They throw it all, they mix it all up well, they're creative. I don't really have to touch too much on Anderson Silva. We've all seen what he's done. We all know that he's an amazing striker. Yeah, definitely Anderson Silva's on the list. Another favorite of mine to watch compete and strike, Michael Bisping. Super technical, volume striker. Didn't necessarily have, huge knockout power, but he would get you out of there with tenacity, with the volume, with the combinations, mixing things up. I love how Bisping bridged the gap, as far as like not being the most powerful striker out there. He bridged that gap with being really technical. Mike was really fun to watch. Alistair Overeem, another phenomenal striker in MMA, one of the best to ever strike in MMA. Alistair, K1 Grand Prix champ. That pretty much says it all. Got that kickboxing background and experience. Alistair throws kicks, super dangerous knees, some of the most dangerous knees we've ever seen in the sport. Clinch game, his elbows, pretty devastating hands, especially during the Overeem era. Alistair, to me, he wasn't so much of a combination guy, but he would pick his shots really well. And more often than not, you couldn't take his shots, especially if they're laying clean and well placed. Nick Diaz has been in the MMA news circuits recently, possible comeback, but Nick Diaz, another guy, really slick, great boxing, technical hands, didn't throw with a lot of power, but there was a method to the madness. He would wear guys out, maybe throwing 70%, very technical, staying tight. And he would just wear you out. He'll wear you out with volume and just piecing you up little by little. That health meter would decrease and guys would fold. Real slick hands, real slick hands. You see it in Nate Diaz as well. But I personally think that Nick has better boxing. A couple of more guys that I love to watch strike in MMA. Vanderlei Silva. Just an absolute savage, probably one of the most violent strikers like ever in the sport. Vanderlei had crazy power, tenacious, super aggressive. Some would argue he didn't throw with a lot of technique, but he was effective. If he landed one of those wild, looping hooks, you were gonna go to sleep. Vanderlei back in the day, he threw good leg kicks. He had really good knees. He used to utilize his Muay Thai a little more. Later in his career, he pretty much started brawling. Want to talk old school? Vanderlei era, Igor Volkanovski. He was like a 5'8" heavyweight, stacked, brick shithouse, pride fighter, old school pride, golden era vet. Igor had bricks for hands, just absolute bricks. Ice cold would hit you and just crush you. There's one specific knockout, the fighter who got knocked out, his name escapes me right now. Maybe I'll throw up a clip or a picture or something and get his name up there. But it was an especially brutal knockout where he was like in the pride ring against the ropes or in a corner, and Igor just cracked him and just like unloaded on him on the way down, if I remember correctly. But I remember it being brutal, and yeah, Igor was no joke. I'm sure I can name a ton of guys. I'm just kind of winging this, guys. I would love to read who you guys consider great strikers in MMA, or who are some of your favorite strikers, period. They don't have to be one of the best in MMA, just guys you like to watch, fight and compete and do their thing on the feet. Thanks for watching this segment, guys. Can't wait to read your picks. If you enjoyed the video and it's your first time at the channel, consider subscribing. Truly appreciate it. And until the next segment, guys, you all take care.